What if some of the entertainment world's most admired stars were carrying a personal truth the public learned later? For years, audiences saw the fame, the style, and the confidence, but not always the private journeys behind them. In this video, you'll discover 7 familiar names who chose honesty over silence, the pressures they faced, and the lasting impact their openness had on fans, representation, and public understanding. Stay with us because one story on this list still surprises viewers. Ricky Martin. What made Ricky Martin's story so powerful was not only his worldwide fame, but also the moment he chose to speak openly. By the time he publicly shared that he is gay in 2010, he was already a global superstar whose music had crossed language barriers and helped bring Latin pop to an enormous international audience. Long before that announcement, he had built an impressive career, first attracting attention in Menudo and later becoming one of the defining performers of his era. Songs like Livin' La Vida Loca made him a household name, while his stage presence, charisma, and consistency made him unforgettable for millions of fans. When Martin chose openness, the moment carried special weight, especially in Latin entertainment, where public image had often been managed carefully. He later described the experience as liberating, and later interviews showed how deeply fatherhood shaped his thinking about honesty, dignity, and example. That gave his story lasting emotional depth. It was never only about celebrity news. It was about personal truth, family, and the courage to live in a way that matched his values. Over the years, Martin's image has evolved from youthful pop sensation to assured, mature performer. Whether appearing in polished stage wear or relaxed contemporary fashion, he has continued to project confidence and warmth. For older viewers who have watched him over decades, his journey feels especially meaningful. It reminds us that lasting strength is not found only in applause or success, but also in choosing honesty when the whole world is watching. His openness also broadened representation, showing longtime admirers that a beloved star could remain respected, admired, and fully relevant after sharing something so personal for many viewers. Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X brought a completely different energy to this conversation, shaped by internet fame, modern celebrity culture, and a generation that communicates in real time. Born Montero Lamar Hill, he became an international sensation in 2019 when Old Town Road broke records and challenged expectations about what a major hit could sound like. By blending country imagery with hip-hop in a fresh and surprising way, he captured attention almost overnight. His humor, visual creativity, and fearless presentation quickly made him one of the most discussed young stars in entertainment. During Pride Month in June 2019, Lil Nas X publicly came out through social media with a tone that felt direct, calm, and unmistakably his own. The timing mattered because he was only beginning a massive mainstream breakthrough, and he knew reactions could be mixed. Even so, he chose openness. Reporting at the time indicated that people close to him already knew, and in 2023 he also sparked discussion by suggesting he might identify as bisexual. Rather than treat identity like a slogan, he showed a willingness to speak honestly while still leaving room for personal complexity. His influence reaches far beyond music. Lil Nas X has become known for fashion that is theatrical, playful, and bold, often echoing cowboy imagery connected to his breakthrough hit while pushing it into something entirely new. For younger fans, he represents confidence. For older viewers, he shows how quickly culture can change. His story reflects a newer kind of fame, where authenticity can be immediate, public, and deeply influential. He also showed that bold self-expression and mainstream success could coexist, even under intense scrutiny and relentless online commentary from audiences around the world. Luke Evans. Luke Evans stands out because his public image has long balanced classic leading man appeal with unusual personal steadiness. Born in Wales, he built his career through theater before moving into major film roles that displayed both intensity and charm. Audiences around the world came to know him through productions such as Dracula Untold and Beauty and the Beast, films that benefited from his strong voice, composed presence, and unmistakably polished screen style. He has the kind of timeless appearance that naturally draws admiration across generations. What makes his story distinctive is that he never framed his identity as a grand revelation. Evans had spoken openly in earlier years, including interviews from the early 2000s, but as his Hollywood profile expanded, he became more private about discussing personal matters. In 2014, he made clear that he was simply living his life and focusing on his work, rather than turning identity into a publicity event. That approach resonated with many viewers because it suggested calm self-knowledge rather than performance. His example showed that openness can be quiet, steady, and entirely free of spectacle. Visually, Evans has maintained an elegant and masculine presentation suited to both formal appearances and more relaxed settings. Tailored suits, understated grooming, and confident posture have all become part of his recognizable image. Yet his appeal is not only about looks, it is also about consistency, discipline, and dignity. He has remained visible without oversharing and respected without unnecessary drama. For many longtime viewers, that balance is part of what makes him memorable and enduring. His story quietly reassures viewers that character, craft, and self-respect can speak louder than headlines, speculation, or the demands of public curiosity over time. Richard Armitage. Richard Armitage brings a more reserved and reflective chapter to this list, which is part of why his story resonates so strongly. Born in Leicester in 1971, he built a distinguished career across stage, television, film, and audio work, earning admiration for performances marked by intelligence, emotional depth, and a commanding voice. International audiences especially remember him as Thorin Oakenshield in the Hobbit trilogy, a role that broadened his visibility and confirmed him as a performer capable of carrying complex characters with authority and feeling. For years, Armitage kept his personal life intensely private. There was occasional public curiosity, yet he rarely addressed it directly. Then, in 2023, he spoke publicly about his sexuality and shared that he had come out to his parents at 19. That detail gave his story unusual emotional weight because it showed that self-knowledge had existed for decades before public disclosure ever arrived. He explained that openness required time, confidence, and the right stage of life. Many admirers responded warmly, not because the revelation was dramatic, but because it felt thoughtful, measured, and sincere. Armitage's screen image has always suggested quiet strength, formal bearing, expressive eyes, and a seriousness that suits period dramas, thrillers, and character-driven stories alike. He does not depend on noise to hold attention. Instead, he draws viewers in through control, presence, and emotional depth. For older audiences especially, his journey may feel familiar in its patience. It reflects the reality that acceptance is not always immediate or public. Sometimes it develops slowly, privately, and courageously until the moment finally feels right. That slow, deliberate honesty gives his story special grace and makes his public openness feel even more meaningful today indeed. Matt Dallas. Matt Dallas will be especially familiar to viewers who remember the television landscape of the mid-2000s. He became widely known through Kyle XY, where he played the mysterious central character with a gentle intensity that helped the series build a loyal following. His calm presence, expressive face, and approachable charm gave him a distinctive place among young television stars of that period. For many fans, he represented a thoughtful kind of leading man, someone whose appeal came as much from sincerity as from screen presence. In 2013, Dallas publicly shared that he is gay, and he did so in a way that felt warm and personal rather than heavily staged. Around the same period, he introduced longtime partner Blue Hamilton to the public. In the years that followed, the couple married and later welcomed a son through adoption. That fuller picture of family life added depth to his story because it showed not just a statement, but a meaningful life being built with openness and care. Support from fans and colleagues was strong, and many appreciated how naturally he seemed to step into that honesty. Dallas also developed a public image that balances classic polish with relaxed individuality. He can appear refined in fitted jackets and crisp shirts, then shift easily into more casual pieces that feel modern and effortless. That versatility reflects the larger arc of his public journey. He is known not only for a memorable television role, but also for showing that personal truth and professional identity can stand side by side with quiet strength. For viewers who grew up watching him, that calm maturity makes his story feel reassuring, relatable, and quietly inspiring for many people. Dan Amboy. Dan Amboy may not be the most widely recognized name on this list, but that actually makes his story more interesting for many viewers. An American actor with work in television and film, he drew attention through polished performances and a refined screen presence that suited historical and upper-class roles especially well. Many people remember him from younger and from playing Prince William in William and Catherine, a royal romance. With his composed manner, careful grooming, and classic features, he built an image that felt formal, elegant, and fully in line with traditional leading man expectations. In 2017, Amboy publicly shared that he is gay and did so at a deeply meaningful moment in his personal life. Reports at the time noted that he had just married Eric Berger after a long relationship. That timing gave the announcement unusual warmth, because it was connected not to gossip or publicity, but to commitment and celebration. He also spoke about earlier industry advice that had encouraged silence, making his choice to speak openly feel especially significant. For many viewers, that context makes his story memorable. It reflects both the pressures of the profession and the relief that can come with finally living more openly. Amboy's style has remained one of his clear strengths. Whether in tailored suits or more relaxed contemporary clothing, he projects confidence without excess. Yet what ultimately makes his place on this list worthwhile is not simply appearance. It is the contrast between a traditional screen image and a modern act of honesty. That combination gives his story a thoughtful charm and reminds audiences that authenticity can quietly reshape even the most formal public persona over time. Very quietly yet effectively. Salvatore. Salvatore represents a more understated kind of public figure, and that is precisely why his story leaves an impression. Known as an actor, musician, and model, he has often come across as approachable, relaxed, and refreshingly genuine. Unlike some performers whose personal revelations arrive after years of silence, Salvatore has spoken about being open from a relatively young age. In interviews, he has described honesty as something deeply important to him, not only for personal freedom, but also because openness can help other people feel less isolated. That perspective made his public image feel less like celebrity branding and more like a consistent way of living. In a 2016 interview with HuffPost, he emphasized that being truthful about who you are can quietly encourage others who may still be struggling. That message gave his story resonance beyond entertainment itself. Rather than presenting himself as a symbol, he came across as someone trying to live decently, speak sincerely, and let example do the work. For many viewers, especially those who appreciate gentler personalities over dramatic self-promotion, that steadiness can be more affecting than grand statements. Salvatore's overall image also supports that impression. He is often associated with a casual but thoughtful style, one that feels comfortable, polished, and distinctly West Coast without seeming overworked. His presence tends to communicate ease rather than intensity. That matters because it reinforces the central message of his journey. Authenticity does not always need fanfare. Sometimes the strongest influence comes from ordinary consistency, kindness, and self-respect. On a list filled with major names and dramatic turning points, Chris Salvatore offers something more intimate and quietly memorable. That quiet sincerity gives his story lasting emotional weight. These stories remind us that fame may catch the eye, but honesty is what truly stays with people. Which journey surprised you most and which one felt most inspiring? Share your thoughts below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and join us again for more thoughtful stories about well-known lives, lasting careers, and the personal strength behind the spotlight. We would love to hear from you today, too.